Welcome to CognitionChunks. This is the Math-Music Connection, how Pythagorean tuning unlocks perfect intervals. The connection between mathematics and music is deep-seated and multifaceted, with one of the most ancient associations found in Pythagorean tuning. This tuning system, attributed to the Greek mathematician and philosopher Pythagoras, highlights the relationship between the numerical ratios of frequencies and the musical intervals that they create. While the system has evolved into more complex temperaments and tunings in modern music, the Pythagorean framework serves as a starting point for understanding the inherent mathematical structure within music. The foundations of Pythagorean tuning. 1. Ratios and frequencies. In Pythagorean tuning, musical intervals are constructed based on simple numerical ratios. For instance, the perfect fifth is based on the ratio 3:2, and the perfect fourth is based on the ratio 4:3. 2. Fundamental frequency. Each musical note can be identified by its frequency in hertz. Pythagorean tuning starts with a fixed, fundamental note, from which other notes are derived. 3. Mathematical series. The frequencies of subsequent notes are found by applying the aforementioned ratios to the frequency of the fundamental note. For example, if the fundamental frequency is F, then the frequency of a note a perfect fifth above is frac 3/2 F. Perfect intervals. 1. Perfect fifths and fourths. These intervals are termed perfect because their frequency ratios have the simplest integers. Their consonance is attributed to this mathematical simplicity. 2. Octave equivalence. The ratio for an octave is 2:1, indicating a doubling of frequency. In Pythagorean tuning, it is common to normalize intervals within an octave, showing the recurrent nature of scales in the music. Harmonic series. 1. Overtones and partial tones. In the harmonic series, overtones are integer multiples of the fundamental frequency. Perfect intervals often align closely with the lower overtones, further explaining their natural consonance. 2. Consonance and dissonance. The degree to which intervals sound pleasing or clashing can be understood through how closely their frequency ratios approximate simple ratios. The limitations of Pythagorean tuning. 1. Tritone dilemma. One of the problems with the Pythagorean system is that it generates a tritone, an interval that sounds dissonant because it does not approximate any simple ratio. 2. Modulation and keys. Pythagorean tuning is not well suited for music that modulates to different keys. The imperfection arises because the cycle of perfect fifths does not close precisely, a phenomenon known as the Pythagorean comma. Modern implications. 1. Equal temperament. Most Western music today uses the 12-tone equal temperament system, which slightly adjusts the intervals so that one can modulate across keys without noticeable dissonance. 2. Microtonal music. Some modern compositions explore scales that use intervals smaller than the usual semitone, and these can be better understood using a Pythagorean approach. Philosophical and theoretical frameworks. 1. Musica universalis. This ancient philosophical concept posited that ratios in musical intervals are related to ratios in the orbits of celestial bodies. While scientifically outdated, the idea signifies the historical connection between math and music. 2. Group theory. Mathematical group theory can be used to describe the symmetries and structures in various musical scales and tuning systems, including Pythagorean tuning. 3. Fourier analysis. This mathematical tool allows us to dissect complex sound waves into their component sine waves, which links back to Pythagorean principles concerning the harmonic series. Conclusion. Pythagorean tuning illuminates the intrinsic mathematical order in musical systems, particularly evident in the formation of perfect intervals through simple frequency ratios. While not without its limitations, it lays the groundwork for understanding the mathematical foundations of more complex tuning systems. The intersection between mathematics and music, as epitomized by Pythagorean tuning, opens up rich avenues for interdisciplinary study, from physics and engineering to philosophy and the arts. Well, there you have it, folks, a melodious journey through the corridors of mathematics and music on today's episode of CognitionChunks. If you've ever wondered how math and music are entangled, you've come to the right channel. We've delved deep into the fascinating world of Pythagorean tuning, exploring its roots in ancient Greece and how it evolved to be a fundamental concept for understanding perfect musical intervals. Through guest interviews with both mathematicians and musicians, we unpacked the equations that serve as the underpinning of these seemingly magical ratios in music. When you strike a chord, you're not just making music, you're in essence visualizing mathematics. Did you know that Pythagorean tuning isn't just a relic of the past? Modern music theory and even some genres of contemporary music still use principles derived from it. Yet, it's not without its quirks, as the Pythagorean comma shows us, the phenomenon that makes certain intervals in this tuning system slightly imperfect. We also examined how Pythagorean principles intersect with other tuning systems like equal temperament and just intonation. This is not just an exploration of music or math, it's an exploration of human perception, culture, and the quest for harmony, both literal and metaphorical. As we go forward, you can look forward to more episodes where we venture into uncharted territories of cognition, whether they be psychological, scientific, or, like today, artistic. If this intersection of math and music tickled your neurons, or if you have questions, comments, or even contentions, please engage in the comments below. Share this video with friends who might be intrigued by this nexus of disciplines. If you haven't yet hit that subscribe button, now's the time. Join us on CognitionChunks as we continue to serve up intellectual insights mixed with a dash of nerdy humor. Remember, our aim is not just to inform but to provoke thought and conversation. So, as we sign off today, consider this: music may be the language of the soul, but its syntax is written in numbers. Thank you for tuning in to CognitionChunks. Until our next cognitive adventure, keep those chunks of knowledge harmonious and resonant. And that's a wrap. Was this accurate? Did GPT just make up a bunch of stuff that does not exist or does not make sense? Find out next time in the CognitionChunks follow-up.